Okay, team, it's another Alphabetti Spaghetti, the best show that we have, hosted by me, Diarm, and I am joined by Spike.
Good evening,
The
Dee.
vet.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm
Spike.
pleased you
Well
cleared
done.
that up. Thank you.
Spike the vet. And the only reason there's any confusion is because we are also joined by Gemma Tattersall. How are you, Gemma?
Hello. How are we, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you missing Nicole? You thought you'd have Nicole. We just pretended Nicole was going
Yeah.
to be on the show right up until the last second.
Yeah, well, she's my little mate, She's kind of,
I know.
quite important.
There is no mates here for you. Do you have an idea how this show works? I kind of half told you, but I mean, you'll pick it up pretty quick. You just get to pick a number. We're on E.
Yeah, to be honest with you, not a clue. I have heard about it from my father, who's told me that it's quite funny, but I haven't listened to one, so I don't really know how it goes. I know that we're on E, and that's
We're
about
on
it.
E, so I mean, you've a lot to go back and listen to. Very, very good show, Gemma, I must say.
Okay, Dan. Yeah. I believe you.
Now, what you want to do here is basically we've got a little group. Everybody sends in things that begin with E, and then we just talk about them. You get to pick numbers, really, and I've got a list of them all here in front of me. I mean, some things we go off in a bit of a tangent on. We talk for a while about them, and some
I
things
just can't
we just kind of
imagine
say,
you
yeah.
ever going off on a tangent, Dan.
No, well, look, we're on a set deadline with this show, so we don't get too carried away. But if you're not really that bothered about something, or you don't know anything about it, just be like, oh, boring. Let's keep going. I mean, this is a very relaxed show now. Goes straight out, no edits. That's the rules.
Okay.
Spike, you have an idea how it works. So I've got a list of numbers here in front of me, so you can have whatever you want. There's one to what have I got today? I've got about 20. I've got 25. Some better than others.
I'm with you. I know how it works.
You
You say, I'm picking the first number.
Spike's not paying any attention whatsoever.
No, Spike. No, none. No, go on, Spike. Pick a number.
Well, I can't believe that I've been asked to pick the number before Gemma. Let's go with number 5.
Number 5. Number 5. Oh, we're going straight in, Gemma. I mean, number 5 is ERM. I mean, there's a few versions of this. I've got fan engagement. I'm going to put all these into one because people talk about this all the time. You've got fan engagement, ERM, and yeah, that's probably enough for now. Okay, let's start. Gemma, you like ERM. It's been a good old platform for you. Tell me about first thing that comes to mind.
ERM, family, winning money, exciting. There you go. You got another E there.
Yeah, that's good. Now, do you know what I want? Do you know what I think of when I think of you and ERM? Because obviously you've had great success in it. But one of my big ERM memories is probably one of your worst ERM memories. And tell me about, because we can always talk about your successes, but I quite like how you're pretty open about the bad days. Tell me about Chatsworth 2016.
2016. Was I 4th?
Oh no, I said Chatsworth, but I meant Blenheim.
Oh yeah, Blenheim. That was really rubbish. I remember. Yeah, so I was right up for the shout of getting a podium finish in the overall standings, and Chico Bella had a very, very uncharacteristic pole down, which I actually don't know whether she's had a pole down since, quite a long time ago. And she then had a run out cross country, and I retired. So therefore, not only did I lose out on the sort of probably a top 6 finish that day, but I also lost out on a podium finish on the overall standing. So that was a very expensive day for me. Not such a good day.
No, one of the most expensive days in the sport, I would say. Apart from maybe Tim Price dropping that pole at Kentucky. Do you remember that day? That would have been an expensive one. Remember when Michael Young beat him? I would say your Blenheim was one of the most expensive days.
Days, yeah. Yeah, that was not so good. Yeah.
You're right as well. It was the last time she had a pole.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Okay, that was the bad one. Tell us about the good one, because it would be unfair just to focus on the bad day. Tell us about the good ERM memories.
I've got so many good ERM memories, to be honest. I think probably one of the best memories I have is that cross country round that I did on Spike at Spike the Horse, Arctic Soul, at Gatcombe in 2017 when I won the overall ERM that year, and he won that leg. And he was just absolutely immense cross country. I don't think I've ever been that fast in my life, and I don't think I've been that fast since. And I was 11th going into the cross country, and I got onto the podium on the top, and I didn't come off, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you actually you won the first one that year as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I won Chatsworth with
when you did a 10
pebbles.
You got a 10 for your halt.
Yes. I did.
And it was also Nicole Brown's most famous piece of commentary, which we still like to repeat.
Yes.
What
like
a
going back
round,
to that.
what a lady, what a horse.
Yeah, cool, Nickers.
Anything from you, Spike, over there, Spike the Vet? What do you think of it all?
Yeah, I think there's two big things for ERM. For me, I think it's just stepped up that level of competition. The moment it started, the likes of Gemma, and I remember Laura Collett as well. Suddenly there was no issue with just going for the time, being competitive. It's always been a bit of a sort of in between the big runs, between the 3 days. It was a little bit of going through the motions sort of historically, and I just think everything's stepped up now, and like the level of competition at the ERM, and it's not quite normal seeing people getting inside the time in these short format 4 stars, but it's so much more common than it used to be. And people are just up their game to such a level now.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Spike. It's made us up our game big time.
And I think that's brilliant to see. And I think it's probably benefited Team GB as a whole. And I think the sport is just at a whole new level again on top of that. So that would be my sort of slightly big picture thing.
Yeah, it's been great. I don't know where to start with it all. I've loved it. My favorite ERM, that's probably what I should talk about. My favorite ERM is Arveil. I was there last year for the first time, and it is class. Really good event. Yeah. Really interesting, really friendly event, and just one of those places where actually riders, I don't know why, Gemma, you will know a lot more than me, but certain events people just seem to kind of be a little bit more relaxed. I think maybe there was an element of the unknown about Arveil, but a very welcoming place, very friendly place. And it is, sunny day, everything came together and just made it it was a really special one.
Really fun event. And it was very competitive as well. But like you say, I think the event at Arveil, they're so friendly. It's run by event riders. Everything is, friendly, easy, and it's also a very, very, very beautiful place. Yeah.
Okay, ERM. Generally, thank you to everybody who has made ERM a possibility, and long may it continue. It's been a huge part of, I'd say, the last 3 or 4 years of our sport.
Can I just have one other point on ERM before you go? Because you mentioned engagement
as long
as well.
As you want, Spike. As long as you want.
I tell you what, and this isn't just going to just praising the likes of yourself and Nicole, but I think the live streaming is amazing, and the TV shows, and then the highlights packages that come from it. I think they're brilliant, and like the production team that do it at the moment, and sort of the intros and the outros at the end, and the music. It's really cool. I think that's sort of stepped up the level of, production of what we're used to seeing in eventing. And I think that's been a really, really big thing for the sport as well.
Would you say one of the best bits is Egg Rating's corner, Spike? What do you think of that? Probably the biggest innovation.
Particularly like the Photoshop of you in front of a map doing the weather at the same time.
I don't know who did that. The only person who I know who has Photoshop skills is Tilly, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't her. So I will get to the bottom of that one. Do you want to keep going? I mean, Gemma, this is how it works. We've only gotten through one. I mean, there's 25 on this list.
How many do we get through?
You'll stay till the job is done, Gemma. 25.
My goodness.
No, I'm only joking, right? We just sign off
We're
at a
not
certain
doing
point.
25.
No, all right,
Okay,
fine.
I'm
All right,
going
well,
to pick a number.
go on.
I'm going to pick a number 1, because that's where I like to be.
Number 1, good choice, actually, an easy choice. It is very relevant for the year that's in it, 2019. Number 1 is the Europeans. Let me check. Who asked me to ask you about the Europeans? Let me just check, Gem. I've got this group here where people tell me the questions, and it's so handy because it means I don't have to rattle it through my brains anymore. Europeans, I'll come back to it. Anyway, tell me about the Europeans. What do you think?
Yeah, the Europeans. So I have had the honour of doing 2 senior Europeans, Blair in 2015 and Stregham in 2017. Trying to get that
Little
right.
known fact, Gemma Tattersall hates numbers more than life.
Yeah, no, not good with numbers. So it's been fairly successful for me. Both times I competed as an individual with Arctic Soul in Blair. That was my first senior championship and finished 9th. He was one of only 3 inside the time cross country on the Saturday, which was a monsoon rain all day. It was just horrendous, but Spike absolutely loved it. And then in 2017 with Quick Look, and she finished 8th again as an individual. She put in a very strong performance that year. So happy memories, and I think it's a great platform for World Equestrian Games and Olympic Games to gain experience for those, as well as obviously European Championships is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, pretty big deal. Spike, you were at Blair, I presume, as well, were you?
No, didn't get up to it. Didn't get up to Blair. No, I watched it. It was a good one, wasn't it? It was amazing. That was great with the weather. That was really impacted. It made it a proper cross country test. And Stregham was as well, wasn't it? That had that early combination that caused so much bother. That ended up being more of a cross country test than I suspect a lot of nations anticipated. We'll see how Lamoulan is this year. It's really exciting to see what how that's going to work out for. There's a lot of European teams that are desperately trying to get their Olympic qualification, so it'll be really competitive.
Yeah. Who's going to win the Europeans, Gemma?
That's a good question.
That's what we do here. It's do you think? It's between you and the Brits, sure. It's between you and the German, surely, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think for Team Gold, I think the Brits have to be Brits and Germans for sure are right up there. But I think the Brits are in a good place, and I think we've got a very, very strong team of riders and horses. So I certainly wouldn't get a bet against the Brits as Team Gold.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's if you look at the German squad at the moment, it's like it's actually kind of the way it's always been. They're so strong in their front few.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Chipmunk this year really aimed at Lamoulan by all accounts. So it sounds. Well, yeah, it sounds more like I think they're kind of taking the pressure off with a plan towards heading to Tokyo. But we already saw Star Connection at Wiesbaden. So I wonder if it's you'd expect a big performance, I guess, from Julia this weekend. Ingrid and Hale-Bob disappointed in the show jumping at Wiesbaden, but obviously still a very, very strong combination. So individual gold, both of them will be there. You would expect they'll both be fighting out for that individual podium. And any slip-ups, and I think the Brits are in. But for me, Germans are maybe slightly ahead just because the quality of those 2 ladies in particular. Anyway, good luck, Gemma. Good luck.
Thanks.
No worries.
It'll be interesting to see what teams get picked, won't it? Like, what if the nation's going to go for the strongest available? They're going to go with some developing riders. They're going to go with some developing combinations.
Yeah.
Yeah, developing horses that perhaps might not be quite there yet, but they may be, in with a shout perhaps for Tokyo, and they want to give them that experience. Could be anything.
Gemma, you can tell us. I mean, what's it actually like in Britain at the moment from, in terms of it feels to me more competitive than ever. I mean, when I was just starting out looking at eventing, and as you know, that's not really that long ago, I remember people used to be like, oh, well, William and Tina and Pippa will always get picked anyway because they've been there all the time. And no matter what I do, like, I'm still just going to be maybe trying to break in, but whatever horse they have, they'll probably end up going. Now, they were three of, and are three of, the best ever anyway. So, I mean, it's no real surprise that they were there for so long. But right now, I mean, including the three of them again, but also when you drop down, into who's actually up for selection now, it feels like this is one of the most, like, it's very different to Germany and what we're talking about. It's very different to every other nation, even Japan. Loads of top horses. New Zealand, very, very strong front three, front four. But Britain right now feels like, you could pick any one of maybe 10 or 12 combinations and it'd still be in with a shout for Team Gold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so competitive to get selected or even be in with a shout to be selected. Everyone's so competitive and got some amazing horses and some lovely up and coming horses as well. Basically you have to be one of the best in the world to even be considered to be on a British team.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah. Well done all in Team GB. Right, that covers England as well. I'm happy enough with that now. I think I've covered you off. All right. Next up, Spike, do you want one? Gemma, do you want to go again?
No, Spike's turn.
Oh my God.
Grand job. How about number 8?
Number 8. Oh, I see Nicole Brown is texting me, shouting that he is qualified because of Barbarocco.
Yeah, I just saw that as well. She shouted at me.
She's very good. Number 8. Oh, number 8's difficult. Oh, the European question came in from Louise O'Brien. Number 8 is difficult, and this comes in from Jenny. Not our Jenny. This is Jenny with a Y in the Flick group. Jenny wants to know about the evolution of equipment. TAC in brackets.
Goodness.
Evolution of equipment, TAC and rules. We could talk about the evolution of rules, but that sounds a bit heavy for a Tuesday evening. What about TAC? You a bling person, Gemma? Don't think so, are you?
Yes, I quite like a little bit of bling, yeah. So I have some nice sort of brow bands for my horses. A little bit of bling, never did anyone any harm. I like to brighten everyone's day a little.
I like your little cross-country hat, I must say. That makes me laugh.
Yeah, my cross-country hat with a little pom-pom. Yeah, stars and pom-pom. I'm not sure that's full of hat, though.
I was going to say, do you think this is where they were coming from, where Jenny was coming from with her suggestion?
The evolution of equipment.
Brow bands and pom-poms.
Brow bands. I mean, you wouldn't have got away with it back in the day. You wouldn't have seen Lucinda Green in it. That's what I'm talking about.
No, this is true. Lucinda Green's a total legend, but I like to have a little bit of pretty bling. And yeah, I would hope to think that I keep everything else sort of as simple as possible. I always ride with a breastplate. Most of the time a martingale, although I do not like them too tight, especially when going cross country. I often, actually pretty much always ride with in high cross nose band, so the we call it like the Mexican grackle, because I think that it keeps any sort of pressure away from the nose for breathing. So I usually ride a nose, and I love my Shieldrick saddles, and off I go.
I mean, that is a more detailed evolution of TAC answer than I could ever have hoped for.
Well, there you
what
go,
do you think,
then.
Spike? Your world has evolved a lot, I'm sure, in your little time in the working.
Oh, veterinary equipment, then no one wants to know about that on a Tuesday evening. But I think the marginal gains are there, though, aren't they? I mean, like the work that Team GB and the World Class Programme put into the girth that ended up being sold by Fairfax, that was considered to be a sort of a marginal gains in and around London 2012. And there's, there are things going on out there that are, it seems as though they're probably very small things, but I I always got told it's easier to find 5 things that make a 2% difference than one thing that makes 10% difference. And these things definitely, got to be out there for improving results and performance. So, I think that's true. And I mean, just referencing what Gemma was saying there about the grackle. I mean, the veterinary science behind that for helping their airways and hopefully getting a performance improvement for there is known and proven. So there's a lot of a sense behind what people are doing, and that comes
There's
from
obviously the flare strips as well that I love to use. I use them for both cross country and show jumping. Some of my horses I show jump in as well.
Tell me what they actually do. Open up nasal passages. Is that correct?
Yeah, you should know all about this because Robbie Fowler.
It's Robbie Fowler, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Robbie Fowler.
Yeah,
he
likes to open his
only
nostrils.
Reference I have.
Yeah, it's been proven. It's the one bit of evidence that it's proven on is it reduces the incidence of horses developing pulmonary hemorrhage, so bleeding into their lungs. That's why it's the flare strips aren't allowed in racing. The FEI and in eventing, we like to support our horses, and from our horse welfare rules is that they are allowed. So yeah, definitely do scientifically show a improvement and reduction in pressure levels within the airways. So yeah, a good thing. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Well, if you're listening, send us some because we gave you a very good plug. Anyway, enough hemorrhaging talk for Tuesday evening.
Oh my God,
would you like something a bit lighter? Anyone want to pick pick a number and I'll decide if it's light enough. I'll decide heavy, medium, or light, and then I'll tell you what you've picked.
21.
21. Well done, Gemma. You've gone for light.
Good.
You've picked embarrassing moments.
Oh my God.
Embarrassing moments. This was, again, I've got the flip between all my little apps. You've got loads, surely, have you?
I can't think of any.
You're going to contribute, D? Have you got any?
Embarrassing moments. Kate McKenzie sent me embarrassing moments. Embarrassing moments. Have I got any? I mean, I've loads. I mean, there's some now that you wouldn't be able to do on air. I have some very awkward ones. But no, they wouldn't be. It wouldn't be fit for broadcast. Any in the? Well, we start with in the working world. Spike, what has anything happened in the working world that's embarrassing?
Oh God, I had this is a bit of an offshoot into the working world. Okay, so I was lucky enough in the past to work for the World Class program with the podium potential riders, and not long after I'd been given the role, I was at badminton, and one of the riders was presenting at the first trot up, and they were a little bit flustered and were worrying about their horse a little bit. And when they came out under the arch, turned right to go to, instead of standing in front of the ground jury, they just carried on trotting and just sort of disappeared up the runway, to much sort of general giggling from the crowd. And they came back to stand in front of the ground jury, and the head of the program at the time, Will Connell, just turned to me and in his very straight way to sort of, what do you think is going on there, Spike? Thought you trained these guys to know what they're doing. It's just not good enough. And I just felt literally like I was a bit of an idiot. So anyway, Sunday morning came, the horse had gone well. Horse looked super on Sunday morning before the trot up. So I stood there at the end of the trot up, stood next to Will again. I said, don't worry, Will. Rider knows exactly what to do, knows how to do everything, no concerns. No, doesn't have to wear anything to hide up the fact that the horse is lame or anything like that. Nothing to worry about, Will. And then as the rider came through the archway, there were leather hot pants. He just turned to me.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
He said, what is going on there? I said, I have no responsibility for what they're wearing.
Leather hot pants. That is class. I've never, you ever,
it's before your time.
You ever gone for the old, I know. You ever gone for the old leather hot pant, Gem?
No, I really haven't. No, definitely not. And luckily, so far, touching some wood with the trot up situation has been okay. Unlike poor Piglet, which I know, Piggy French, who I know has had many trot up incidences, let's say, with tights falling down, shoes falling off, and all sorts
tights
of
falling
random
down.
stuff.
Tights falling down. I've heard of. That's a funny one.
She had tights falling down and shoe flying off. I think there's been plenty of moments.
Shoes feels like, you could deal with it.
Shoes.
Shoes kind of feels like, oh well, your shoe fell off. But tights, just like tights by their very nature, are an awkward one.
Yeah, it was definitely a problem for her, but she did keep running, I believe. Yeah. Spike
have you anything on a runway?
Me?
Did he?
Yeah, he
on the runway, he got run over by Spike.
Yeah, nearly. Yeah, Arctic Soul, he nearly flattened me at the Europeans at Blair. Most of the time, I do have to have someone standing there waiting at the end because I cannot stop him to grab the other side of him. But yeah, I think she might have missed that time, and he carried on and then nearly flattened me.
Now, Gemma Tattersall, do you expect me to believe that your most embarrassing moment is like kind of a little bit, getting nearly flattened by Spike in her trot?
No, probably not.
Can you please add it's the horse when you're saying that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course. Not Spike the Vet.
So.
Not Spike the Vet.
Dave, have you had any
go
embarrassing moments?
Sure, I've loads, Spike, but I mean, I wouldn't know where to start. I had a few in ERM. I had one the other day on ERM where my brain broke. I had actually thought I had managed the whole thing reasonably well, and whatever I was trying to say, I think I was trying to say a sentence under pressure at the end of a day on Saturday, which was like point of view. Not an easy thing to say at the best of times, but genuinely really struggled to get my words out for quite a while. Not great. It's been clipped. I've had loads. I've called people the wrong names. People know about the wedding story when I locked me and Denise out on our wedding night, and I had to sleep in my parents' kitchen. There's loads of really awkward, annoying things that have happened in my life. I'll give you more details at the end of the show if I can think of any in particular. Spike, what do you want? 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. How about number 4?
Number 4, Euro Prince, Claire Abbott.
Ninja.
Amazing horse. Love that horse. Great horse.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
Seriously consistent, isn't it? I don't think it's barely got a gap in its record, has it? It's done the job year in, year out. God knows who years now.
She's lovely as well. Sometimes doesn't get the recognition because she's quiet and she just goes about her business. She reminds me kind of Nicola Wilson. She's not like Gem, selfies galore. She's just sitting there.
Selfies? That's definitely not me.
I just wanted to see if you were listening. No, Claire's lovely, I must say. She's a maths teacher, and she
takes. That's definitely not me.
Actually, that's a good point. That's definitely not you. But she's she's very kind, lovely person to have or to be around in a squad. Everybody always speaks very highly of her, and great round at badminton. Euro Prince is bang there. It's exciting.
They have a great partnership.
They do. I'll give you one, Gemma, because I love this one. What about Escada?
Awesome. One of my favorite horses ever. Yeah.
Agreed.
She was a superstar mare. Ingrid Road. I am right, aren't I? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was one of my favorite horses. Kind of slightly reminds me of Chica Bella. She was just very special. Her and Ingrid had a great partnership. It was a shame that she had an injury at the end of her career, but she was so successful.
Yeah, she has. I think she's still the most finish on dressage scores. Yeah, she was very special. Very special.
Yeah,
do you think she's the horse that kind of launched Ingrid into a new level? Because I've sort of always known Ingrid as the queen, but everybody always laughs at me like, older people. Spike, you probably remember it more, and you'll be like, she wasn't always the queen though. I kind of remember her before she was, as good as she is now. Whereas I don't really remember that, but everyone says, well, it was sort of like Butts Abraxas, and then Escada arrives, and then since Escada, she's sort of been pretty much close to the top. Yeah, was Escada the horse that catapulted her to the top?
Yeah, Butts Abraxas was a great horse, wasn't it? But it just always seemed to let her down a bit in the show jumping. So it kind of tagged her as being there after cross country, and then would sort of drop down the leaderboard a little bit. So it kind of kept her at the top. And as you say, all the sequential FODs was amazing. So yeah, I think you're just about right on this one, D.
Yeah, that is good knowledge from me, isn't it? Okay, that was from Kayla. Thanks, Kayla. Now, do you want another one, lads? We've got maybe. I'll go for maybe. What about two more? Two more, that'd be fair.
13.
13.
Good number.
13. Ensign.
Oh, yes.
Really cool horse. I actually got to ride Ensign a little bit when I worked for Pippa. And I think I was even lucky enough to have a little lesson on him one day, which was like the most amazing thing ever when you're 17 years old or 18, whatever I was, working for Pippa. And then he went on and jumped around badminton, I believe. Did he? I think, yes. I remember seeing him going around badminton. And then he retired and Sparkles had him.
Yeah. He was lucky to be at Ballybulger, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he retired there.
Yeah.
Dearly loved, and really would have he wanted for nothing in his retirement, didn't he? What a lucky horse.
Yeah, everybody loved him.
Full thoroughbred as well.
Titch.
Little Titch. That's right.
Here, I didn't know you worked for Pippa. Tell me about that.
Yes, I did a bit of work for Pippa. I didn't work for her full time because I live close. Sort of went there for 2 weeks with 2 horses, and then I then carried on doing sort of 2 days a week, pretty much all one winter, which was really cool. Just learnt loads, did sort of lots of hacking out, helping Pippa on the ground, and she helped me a little bit, and I had some lessons on my own horses. And yeah, she was just brilliant. I learnt so much from her, and still do all the time as well.
Yeah, she's class. Would little aside, give me your top. Well, just give me maybe you don't have to put them in order because you don't like doing that kind of stuff. But who would have been the big influences for you now growing up? So Pippa, I'm sure, would have been one. Was there, was it mainly Pippa videos, or was it did it go before that? Did you have any interest, or was there access to people like Lucinda and Ginny, or was Pippa the one who kind of started the girl power?
Pippa would be my main. She is really my hero. She. I used to watch videos of her all the time, and was, at that age, was a huge influence to me. And if I look back at things I used to love watching and things I used to love watching, the old show jumping tapes as well, like Milton and stuff like that. And I just remember learning a lot from watching that sort of thing as well. So I think that would have influenced me too. We can all learn how to jump K rounds, and Milton did a lot of those. So yeah, I would say top of my list would definitely be Pippa as my biggest influencer. And then, I used to watch, I think Andrew and William, cross country riding. I think they're probably the best cross country riders. If you look back at the old long formats and badminton and Burley, and watching those two gallop and jump round on some of those old horses was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Did you watch anyone Spike when you were growing up in your little shorts? Wondering one day I'll be a vet to these men.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Yeah. No, I remember Pippa and William were probably the two that I followed as when I was younger. I grew up in East Kent, literally my local pub, even in younger age, was the next door village to William's family home down there. So he was someone that I always followed closely. So they're probably the biggest influence on British eventing in the last 20, 25 years, aren't they? So
I'd say they are, yeah. You know what I think is amazing is I know we have all of the, we're living in an era now where thankfully and at last women's sport is being recognized fully and probably across the outside of sport as well, post the Me Too movement, that actually we're living in a much more enlightened era, but maybe sometimes then I think we've talked about it a little bit in eventing, how we take it for granted, but it is really special what Pippa did in 2001 and before and over that whole period, because I think of so many, Gemma, and the way you talk about it, but I think you're not alone. Like most interviews I read, whether it's yourself or whether it's Laura or a whole lot more. I mean, Emily obviously had Mary, but nobody, I mean, let's be honest, nobody looks up to their own mother, because that's the way families work. Maybe in that case, a little bit different. But she, I would say, definitely inspired a whole generation of eventers in Britain. I'd say that wouldn't be don't think that would be an exaggeration, would it?
Definitely not. No, definitely not.
It's pretty special. Pretty special thing to do.
Yeah. Very,
all right. God, I didn't think that was going to get so heavy. Ensign has his own challenge, and it's actually for retraining of racehorses, which brings us to ex-racehorses, which brings us to Spike. Isn't that good?
Yeah. Well, he's very special.
Yeah, he is. All right. Okay. Is that it? I think that's it. Spike, are you gone? Are you there?
No, I'm still here. I was just letting you go for one of your classic asides, Dees. You just rambled on talking about something beginning with the letter F on our pod to do with the letter E.
Well, I was talking about Ensign and then Pippa, and it's very special. Sometimes I get carried away with that kind of stuff. Okay. I think we've done. Gemma, do you want to? We could do all 25, Gemma, but I think it's probably time to get on with our lives, isn't it?
Yeah, I think probably it is. Yeah, I think we've had a great time, and I've enjoyed listening to you rambling on, and maybe it's time for some din-dins or something.
Time for some din-dins. Okay, I'll ask you one final question.
Mm-hmm.
You are, and you can't say, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not answering that." Okay, you're in team gold position.
Mm.
The team, let's say it's Ireland. Let's just imagine it's Ireland, okay? Your big rivals. Ireland are in silver at the moment, but we're on the same score. But we have jumped all of our horses, and you guys have one rider left to come in. Okay? Drama. Full stadium. Huge tension. This is Olympic team gold I'm talking about, Gemma Tattersall. Now, you can pick one of the following three riders to be the person who rides this around. They all begin with E. It's Sarah Ennis, Sam E. Croyd, and Ruth Edge. Dun, dun, dun.
Say those again.
Sarah Ennis for Ireland, Sam E. Croyd, or Ruth Edge.
Do we have a horse?
No, just a rider. Just talking about three riders that begin with E. You can pick whatever. They can ride their best horse available to them at the time.
Okay. Ruth Edge.
I knew you wouldn't go for Sarah Ennis, Ireland.
I'm going to go for Sarah D. Don't worry.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Well, I thought Ruth Edge was brilliant at dressage. Was she brilliant at show jumping as well, Gemma?
Yeah, so she was quite good under pressure.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. And what, Sam Croyd's just a bit young. We don't know how he is under pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit young. That whole pressure situation, I'd say.
I'd say he's under pressure a lot now. I'd say he'll be grand under pressure, if I'm honest. No problem to him. And Sarah Ennis for Ireland. Okay, you've gone with Ruth Edge. Spike, you've gone with Sarah Ennis. I think that was a great way to finish. It's just, we've learned a lot now. We've learned a lot. So That's the end. Gemma, you're not going to give us any of your embarrassing moments, are you?
No.
Well done on winning Bramham, by the way. I was very happy for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's nice to have the little girl pony, unicorn pony, back on such good form.
Yeah, and while you're here, you know what else? Well done. Well done on putting up that post earlier in the year when things weren't going well. Because it's hard,
Thank
you know.
you.
It's not an easy thing to do. Vulnerability in public is not something that we are very good at, and it's easy to do the my pony's brilliant post. But I thought it was really good to show the full journey, the full spectrum.
Yeah, it's not always easy.
No, totally agree.
All right, Gem. Well, look, thanks a million for coming on, and we will talk to you soon. I'm sure we'll see you somewhere very soon.
Yeah.
And Spike, thank you as well. Arville, is that where we're going? Yes. Yeah. Class. Can you give us a little insight into who's going? Do we know? Do you have any idea yet, or is it under wraps?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going on Miss Pebbles.
Right.
But I don't know. All the rest is definitely a secret.
Okay. Thought I might get some inside info there, ladies and gentlemen, but it's very close to her chest. Okay. Very good. Well, look, we'll see you in Arville. Spike, I'll see you soon, hopefully. And lads, thanks again for coming on, and we will catch up soon.
Bye-bye.